the power of Plan B. And
I'm not using Plan B until we can have a conversation.
I use Plan B. You don't notice I use Plan B with her all the time now.
Yeah, does it work?
Yeah. You don't think so? This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Branding, marketing, e-commerce made simple and stunning. Go to Squarespace to have your website, your email marketing campaign, your online store, your members only community, and get amazing plug and play templates with the perfect fonts and mature colors. Allow yourself to be presented in the way that you truly feel on the inside about the creative work that you are doing out there in the world. I use Squarespace for all of my marketing, e-commerce, and analytical needs. All you have to do to join me is go to squarespace.com/shanbooty. Go try it for free for 2 weeks. No credit card required. Take a look around the back end, see if you like it. And if you are loving what Squarespace is putting down, pick up 10% off the purchase of a website or a domain at squarespace.com/shanbooty.
All right, Ryu. You gonna be a big girl? Use a nice big girl cup. Ryu. Let's see you be a big girl. But hey! What was that?
Are you ready? One take.
Yeah, I'm ready.
No edits. Let's do it. Hi, Jared Brady.
What's going on, Shambudram?
Thank you for thank you for being here. So I originally recorded this video by myself.
Yeah.
You know, you have the mantra, save the drama for your mama. I was like, save the drama for your therapist. I can no longer be that good and patient parent for you. I have to stop this behavior. And down the line, you are definitely going to need to hire a therapist and tell them that your mom didn't allow you to express your emotions. Your mom didn't allow you to cry. And I would have a conversation with that therapist and say, yeah, because it was just too overwhelming. It just became the narrative in our household. It became the thing that we had to organize our whole day around, like this moodiness. And that's not okay. Yeah, I want my daughter to save the drama for her mama. You know, I want that. I want her to feel like at the end of a really hard day, like I'm the person she can come home to and find her peace, and I'll understand. And afterwards, I just kind of felt like it was something that would better for both of us. So I really appreciate your time to sit and chat with me.
Yeah.
I actually know how you feel, but I don't quite know how you feel, so I'm interested to hear as well. But first and foremost, the reason why I thought it was important to make this video, period, is for any parent who has a child like Ryu, who I would describe as not very flexible, not very adaptable, and very easily frustrated.
Yeah, strong-minded, strong-willed.
Yes.
Once she has her eyes set on something, memory's strong.
Yeah, and maneuvering her to something else is a problem.
Yeah.
So no's cause tantrums. Any type of thing that she has to do that she doesn't want to do causes tantrums. And unlike, I think, a lot of other kids, she doesn't take to routine as a result of that. Like bedtime is always a surprise. Food is always a surprise. Brushing your hair, brushing your teeth, anything that she does every single day, every time. It's as if it's the first time she's ever had to do this terrible thing before.
Yeah. As soon as you lead her to going to brush her hair or brush her teeth, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Why am I having to do this? You want me to eat? What? Yeah, so she's strong-willed. She doesn't like to do things she doesn't want to do.
And I think as a parent, it can cause a lot of social embarrassment. It can cause a lot of questioning about your own parenting. And what really stood out to me is I listened to a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and the host was saying there's two kinds of parents. There's parents who enjoy the phase that their kid is at, and there's parents who are always waiting for their kid to grow into the next phase. And then he said, I always find I don't really enjoy hanging out with the parents who are waiting for their kid to grow up. And that kind of pissed me off because I was like, maybe you have a couple of Zayas at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that pissed me off because I felt like when you have a kid where everything is a struggle, we've always wanted her just to keep growing. Because when she was a baby, we're like, when she stops teething, when she starts crawling, when she starts walking, and now we're in terrible twos, and I'm like, when she grows out of this. And as much as that pissed me off, it was also a wake-up call for me to be like, I think we have to reapproach or reimagine our parenting dynamic and so that we can actually enjoy her at the age she's at?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, I don't think it's a bad thing to be waiting for the next phase. That guy didn't piss me off. It's like, yeah, that's your opinion. That's cool. But for me, I understood, like, when she was a baby, she was really frustrated because she wanted to go and move and touch the things that she wanted to touch. As soon as she was able to crawl, as soon as she was able to walk, her mood improved. And so for me, I'm looking at it like, yes, right now, it's hard to talk to her. It's hard to reason to her. It's hard to get her to understand why brushing your hair, why brushing your teeth is good for you. And so I already know once she gets to the level of being able to understand, then I think there's wiggle room for more enjoyment.
Yeah, but then I
Personally.
guess then you just keep waiting for them to be somebody different rather than finding ways to work with who they are at the present moment. And I think it pissed me off, but it pissed me off in a good way. Because sometimes when you get mad, you have to really assess, like, what about this is bothering me? And what was truly bothering me is that I don't have the capacity to truly enjoy my kid right now.
Okay.
And that hurt.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, there was, especially I think in the past, 2 weeks, things have gotten a lot better. But 2 weeks ago, it was just like,
Yeah, she was.
hanging out with her was draining.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it still is. It still is. It still is a lot of emotion and a lot of drive out of you because you have to do everything exactly the way she wants it or you're going to get pushback. And so it is draining. But I thought that's just parenting.
Well,
I thought that's just like what it is. Like this is just
You know
this
what?
is just a shitty time. Like every parent that I've talked to who had 2-year-old, 1-year-old, it's great. That's not to take away great times. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why certain friends come over for an hour and they dip. Because she is a lot.
I think that's the gift that having two has given us, though.
Yeah.
Two has given me hindsight to be like, it doesn't have to be like this for everybody. Because
Yeah.
Ryu is a particular way and Zaya is extremely different. And then I was saying this to you, which I really want to second this, is that we have what you might call a good baby and a challenging baby.
Yeah.
But good is only in context of the environment that we're trying to raise them in. In the wild, I think Ryu would be an incredible baby.
Yeah.
She'd be the perfect dream kid. And Zaya might be too timid, not aggressive enough. She might get forgotten a lot because she's not very vocal. But in this North American, westernized world, right, Zaya is quiet.
Yeah.
She is easy to get along with. She's easily flexible. She's not very frustrated.
She chooses happy.
She chooses happy.
Yeah.
So in this environment, she's a good baby. Not that there's a good and a bad, just in this particular way that we live.
Yeah.
Yet the world isn't best suited for Ryu's personality.
Right, and that's the one thing that I used to always say about Ryu. Like even when she was younger than she is now, those characteristics in her are tough right now as a kid. But when she becomes an adult, if it's shaped the right way, those things are gonna take her to have an enjoyable, long, amazing, frugal life. So I'm always just kind of like, yeah, this is just like the bear that we have to carry with having a really successful, awesome, aggressive, opinionated, someone who pushes the world forward kid.
I love that you said, too, if it's shaped the right way, because that's also something I want to talk about, too. Some of the things that I have found that have worked, and especially in light of that book that I just read, The Explosive Child, which you were like, why are you reading that book? She's not at that age yet.
Yeah, no.
But I think the book was really talking about 7-year-olds and people who are past the 2 and 3 phase. But a lot of the parents who were talking in that book reflected and had very similar experiences to us when their kids were babies.
Yeah.
So that to be said, I think if we don't get on top of it now, and don't get me wrong, doesn't mean that she won't naturally grow out of it. I just know that I definitely want to enjoy parenting and being around my kid a lot more. And there's things that I think that I've started to do that have helped me to do that.
What are some of the things that you think that you saw a difference in her?
Before we jump ahead, I wrote a list of questions.
There you go.
When did you know that Ryu would be a challenging kid?
I knew when we started getting around other kids her age, and I saw the way that she responded to, hey, come here. Versus the other kids would kind of just go to their parent. Ryu is on a mission. And when she would run away from us, like if we go to the park and she runs into the park, she looks back to see if we're around a lot further than any other kids. So it's like, oh, she's a sole rider. Like, she's gonna go. She's not gonna listen to anything that we're gonna have to say until she gets hurt, and then she's gonna come to us. But that's kind of one of the like first things that I noticed was like comparing her to other children. Other children were a little bit more timid, a little bit more like kind of not really getting away from their parents, whereas Ryu would be on the move.
Yeah, super social, which I love about her. Not afraid, very adventurous, loves to try stuff, loves to climb, but likes to do what she likes to do.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I noticed on the way home from the hospital.
Really?
I don't know, like probably wasn't that early, but I look back at the picture that we have. I think it was like Ryu was 1 month old. Remember we shot it outside of the house? It was for our anniversary. So December 23rd, we shot this picture, this video of us in front of the house with Ryu. So she was probably like a month and some change at that point. And I don't know if you remember how awful shooting that was.
Oh, yes, I remember now.
She cried constantly, and we were just like, give us 3 seconds. I remember at that point Googling, like, how much are kids supposed to cry?
Yeah.
So I just knew really early on, and because I live with my sister and her kids, so I've been around babies before, and this is not a normal amount of fussing. And we knew she wasn't colicky from the doctors. There was nothing developmentally wrong with her. There was just something about Ryu. She was getting more than enough food. We were freezing breast milk, so it wasn't as if that she was starving. So it was just, and as she's grown up, it's like that trait. And I love when I read that book, it was like the 3 characteristics of being easily frustrated, not very adaptable, and not flexible. And like that's her to a T, and that's always been her.
Yeah.
Is there a particular story that you remember where you lost your cool with her because it got really challenging?
There's so many. I can't even think of one, but I can
think of a few in particular. I can share mine, and then you might remember yours. Okay. I have one overriding story, which makes me like sad to this day to think about. Is Kyra and Zara were over, and she loves being around them now, but back then she just cried kind of all the time. So they were over, and I was trying to hang with them and trying to hang with Ryu, and I wanted to have a great time, and I had like this dinosaur show on the TV, and we couldn't watch it because she just cried constantly. And I remember them leaving, and it felt like an awkward thing when they left because it was like we just didn't have a fun time. We were just around this crying baby the whole time. And then they left, and I was just so mad at Ryu. And I was like, why can't you just enjoy life? Like, why can't you just be happy for once?
Yeah.
And like, that's a memory I have.
Yeah. Yeah, I the only times that I remember 2 blow-ups on her, and usually it's connected to bedtime. And I just remember she just kept moving and fussing. She wasn't in, and I raised my voice, and I was like, Ryu, it's bedtime. Like, really scary. And she just started crying. And that's the one thing that I would give Ryu every time. As soon as I get stern with her, or if she can sense that I'm not happy with the way she's acting, she usually breaks down and then was like, hug daddy, hug daddy. So I will say that, like, I know she cares a lot about the way that we view her. And as she gets older and realizes that, oh, when I listen, or if I'm able to communicate why I don't like something, I'm going to choose that route rather than like a tantrum.
Yeah, because I was going to say, like, sometimes that crying thing, I don't actually look at it in a positive way, because if you get to the point of needing to yell at her, you're probably already really frustrated, and then she starts screaming and tantruming. So it doesn't help her mood, and it doesn't help our mood. So that balance, I think, sometimes...
She stops doing what she's doing.
Yeah, because she's focused on throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
It's a pretty all-consuming task.
Yeah, I can take the cries. I can take the cries. But if you're not listening when I say stop, I'll take the cries all day.
Has there been feedback from others that has affected you?
No, it's never have. Never got under my skin. I'll be annoyed with something if somebody's like, oh, Ry's just bad, or you got to do this, or you got to, do that and this, the third. This is how you're supposed to parent. I'm always just like, that doesn't matter to me, because she's 2. So it'd be one thing if she's 14 and she's doing crazy things, then we can have a conversation of like, what's her parenting style like? Why are you allowing her to do this? So, but until we get there, right now it's just like, I don't want to snuff that out. I don't want her memory to her being strong-willed and curious to be connected to me, to me like forcing her not to do something. And I grew up in a household that was like that. I got to a point where I was a teenager when you're supposed to be connecting with your parents, kind of adult-like. They're supposed to know your personality. They're supposed to know what you think is funny. They're supposed to know like your quirkiness that you have. And I remember being in the car with my dad and not being able to express myself when I liked the song, and not being able to sing along, not being able to show a certain type of my side of my character that I just wasn't accustomed to showing, because every time I was around my dad, I had to be quiet, sit, don't, manners, this, that, and the other. It was very robotic. So my entire personality was kind of hidden from my dad because of that. So I'm just like, right now, let me just allow her. She knows when I'm frustrated. As she gets older, we'll be able to shape it and have her, give her better tools to be able to route herself when she does feel frustrated. So I'm not worried. And whatever anybody else says, like, it's cool.
Yeah. I get impacted by I know. I'm grateful for you for that. You know, it's a gift that you gave me, because I had come home from a day of particular judgment, and then you just kind of just gave me the freedom just to be like, we're in this together. We're consciously choosing this parenting style. And as we now know, since having Zaya, it's not just all because we're not strict parents, or, you know, too easygoing, or we're pushovers. Like, it's not just that. I mean, there's a big part of it. I'm definitely a more relaxed parent. I definitely choose my no's wisely. I'm not a no parent, and I never wanted to be that. I want you to explore. I want you to try. I want you to learn the natural way. And sometimes that even means allowing you to be in managed risky situations where I'm like, could you get hurt? Yes. But is the lesson of you getting hurt going to be impactful for you? And is the pain going to be long-term? No. I'll let you do that thing. So I do know that I do have a more lax style, but I also know now that we have Zaya that that's not 100% why Ryu is the way that she is. A lot of it is her natural personality. So she gets called feral in my family a lot. I know behind our back, she's just kind of looked at as a kid who has no discipline, no structure, is allowed to run wild. And that can definitely get to me sometimes, because I know that's not the truth. And I also know that there are particular challenges that she has that may be why she is not the way that their kids or other people's kids were, or responded to critique or criticism or even discipline.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is she could be. If she was under a different household and a different parenting style, she probably would be a more looked at as a good kid. But at the end of the day, you're stifling the things, the natural characteristics that she has that can make her great. You know, I grew up in a household that all of us were exactly like Ryu. We were wild. And they were good as in a kid, and they listened and they did their chores, and they were really nice to parents and really good to bring around other adults. But at the end of the day, as they became older, they didn't have the characteristics to really go for things in the world, you know, and it stifled them as an adult. So I'm not really like, I think that I'm a pretty strict parent. I think that I don't just let Ryu do whatever she wants. I think that I'm also a really lenient one as well. But I'm not the type of person that's going to be grabbing her, taking her away from people, you know, letting her, I don't know. I just don't have that parenting style, and I know it didn't work, so I don't really care what other people say. You know? Whatever you guys think our parenting style is against Ryu, that's cool. But I already saw firsthand what doing that to a child who's naturally the way that she is, and it doesn't end out good.
I agree. Yeah. And I love the fact that we align on that value system.
Yeah.
I think that that's a gift, because we could have a very different experience if we felt very differently about letting her be exactly who she is.
Yeah.
What has not worked with trying to manage Ryu?
I think I think about when we send her to her room, that works. She calms herself down in there.
I strongly disagree.
Really?
I don't think any of that works.
What? What parent? What household are you living in?
I just don't. I just know in terms of changing the behavior.
Yeah.
I do not think yelling worked.
No.
I do not think sending her to her room worked.
Yeah.
I do not think that telling her to stop it worked. And I definitely think something that I do a lot, or used to do a lot, which is just being like, stop crying. Don't do that. Don't behave this way. Like, don't even do it. Like, you don't even have the option to cry. No more crying. Like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, this morning, someone showed her yogurt, and she really wanted yogurt, really bad. And I was on the way taking her to school. And I put her in the thing, she was crying. I was like, she kept trying to go for the yogurt because it was in the bag that she was sitting next to. And then she kept crying, and I kept saying no. She kept crying, and I just like yelled. I was like, you are not going to have yogurt today. You will have it later on, another day, or at school. But right now, you're not having yogurt. And she just like looked at me and stopped crying. And then I started riding the bike. And she forgot. So I don't know. It's like sometimes I don't know. It sometimes works.
Yeah.
For me, it sometimes works. If she's crying and she's already having a fit, then, maybe you're not going to be able to 90% of the time, but sometimes.
Well, that's actually a good point. So the book that I read talks about 3 styles of parenting: Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C. And Plan A is, I'm the adult, I'm the authority, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's my will, it's your compliance. Then Plan B is, let's work through this together. What do you want? Here's what I want. How can we meet in the middle? And furthermore, how do I understand what you want and like actually understand it before we try to come up with a compromise? So I'm not making a compromise. It's actually just Plan A. And then Plan C is just drop it. Like, I'm not even going to take this beef on with you. And so I think, to your point, yes, Plan A can work sometimes. But I do think that Plan B, and that's what the book was really about, is the power of Plan B. And
I'm
that
not using Plan B until we can have a conversation.
I use Plan B. You don't notice I use Plan B with her all the time now.
Yeah, does it work?
Yeah. You don't think so?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know when you use it.
You haven't seen her mood change drastically? I don't know. This is interesting to me to talk to you about, but I do know.
I have seen her mood change drastically, but I haven't changed the way I approach her.
I don't know if that's true. I think you have.
Okay.
Maybe you haven't done it like manually. I thought you were, but like if she gets upset now, rather than saying like don't cry or stop crying or no Ryu or trying to reinforce, we ask her questions. Like I'll be like, and even today actually, interestingly, I heard her say something because whenever she cries, because she doesn't have the capacity to even explain, oh, I'm upset because da 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 da. So rather than saying, why are you upset? What's up? What's going on with you? And like not in a judgmental way, like, why are you upset? Like genuinely, like, what's up? Like, what's going on with you? I give her options. Are you upset because this person said no? Are you frustrated right now? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling exhausted? Are you feeling like no one's listening to you? And so this morning, I went to go ask her, because I didn't know why she was crying. I said, Ryu, what's up? Why are you crying? And she said, Daddy said no to me. And I was like, oh, because every time she cries, I'll always be like, are you frustrated because someone said no to you? So I do think it's working.
Yeah. It's working, yes. She's still crying, though.
She's still crying, but I feel like the mood changes quicker.
Yeah, it switches over.
And we can get to a place of resolution.
Yeah.
And maybe to your point, a big part of it is necessarily even changing her behavior. It's changing my attitude towards her behavior. When I feel like I have more control, or I feel like I've got an approach that is getting us closer to a better outcome down the line even, it makes me feel better and gives me more patience.
Yeah, I agree.
I also think I'm pretty big on Plan C too.
Just give it to her.
Just drop, and that was a big part of the thing of the book too. It was saying that when you have an explosive child who's not very flexible and adaptable, choosing your battles is really important. And so I really do think long and hard before I enforce something on her. Like, is it that important? And also, I know me. I like having my way done.
Yeah.
So if she has a way, why isn't she allowed to do that? And then even little stuff, like it was saying in the book that adults are really bad at impulse control.
Of course.
So we're trying to tell this kid no to the yogurt, but the real truth is if I wanted the yogurt, I would have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I'm packing her lunch, I'm going to snack on a few crackers, before I put it away. And if she's going to wander over and be like, can I have some? Why am I going to tell her no when I just couldn't even stop myself from snacking on them? You know what I mean? So that's what I mean about choosing your no's.
Yeah, exactly. And mine's the yogurt because we just got her dressed. So I was like, you can't eat yogurt right now and not get it everywhere.
That's the thing. Once in a while, I think Plan A is what you have to do.
Yeah.
But knowing long term that if the parenting style is just like, this is our way, basically the only thing we can hope to do is to break her spirit.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Don't want to do that. I think we're doing fine. That's just me. I think we're doing fine. She's 2.5. She's going to cry over yogurt sometimes. She's going to cry over spilled milk. She's going to. It's just what it is. You know, you got to ride it out. I'm not worried at all.
No, I guess maybe that's the difference though between you and I. Like, I'm gonna try to do something now. You might try to do something a little later.
Yeah, when I can have a conversation and whatever I'm doing is not in vain and it's effective. When we can actually have a conversation, you know, I see her. She's somebody who learns off of other kids. And the daycare that we had her out at, the kids were crazy and they cried and they yelled and they screamed to get what they want. I understand you think that that's how she was when she was a baby, but she wasn't that screamy before she started going to play. Oops, sorry play. But before she started going to that daycare, she wasn't as screamy, as tantrumy. I remember the time that I saw her start to throw herself on the floor, and I went to go pick up a kid, and there was a kid who threw himself on the floor when he would cry. And so I was like, oh, you got this from this person. Because you definitely have your moments, but you never threw yourself on the floor before. This new daycare, the kids are a little older, they listen a little bit better, the teacher's a little bit more engaged with the kid, and I think that she's going to pick up a lot of different habits. So I am not worried.
So you think that her behavior can be impacted socially,
Yes.
but within the house, you're like, don't put pressure on it. Just wait till she grows out of it.
Yes.
What's the big deal?
Socially, with other kids that are her age, she's watching them listen.
Okay, well, maybe a dual approach works, where we're also
I'm
changing.
doing your approach.
I know.
I'm doing it.
But you're also not purposefully
Well, you read a book for
knocking
7-year-olds.
it.
She's 2.5.
It
So
wasn't for 7-year-olds.
It was.
for explosive kids. A
That
lot of
are
the
7.
No, a lot of the examples that they gave in the book were children who were like at homework age.
Yeah.
But it was also talking about kids who showed explosive tendencies from the time that they were 1 year old.
Yeah. I don't
So-
see. Yeah. That's just me. Listen, my cousin Ian was an explosive kid.
Yeah, no, don't. I'm not saying that she's
Ryu
the most
is not no
explosive.
Ian. I'll tell you that.
You're just being the typical parent right now, where you're
Well,
like,
I'm here. I am here. I want her to be a little bit explosive. I want her to be this way. You know, and I don't know. I find that yeah, she might cry or whatever, but I find that she does listen. I find she does.
no. I mean, it's getting. There's moments. We had people over yesterday.
It's getting better
And
because
she was
you
hit-
implemented the book.
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, I do think it helped a little bit.
You do.
And I'm not, let me rephrase.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying that it's necessarily helping Ryu.
Yeah.
I know it's definitely helping me in my experience
Yeah.
and me feeling like I can be happy parenting my kid today.
Yeah.
And I'm not waiting for her to be or to grow or to adjust. I'm just accepting, embracing, and enjoying where we're at today.
That's beautiful.
And if that's what this parenting technique does, maybe it doesn't help Ryu at all, but it helps me and that makes a difference.
Help Ryu and yourself. It's beautiful. It's a great way to look at it. It's very inspiring and motivational. And like I think every parent should have that outlook on her. Let's just enjoy this shitty kid now.
Are you using it sarcastically?
Yeah. No, I'm serious. It's good to be like, I'm gonna enjoy this no matter what. And if she throws tantrum, I'm gonna enjoy this time and try to reason with her.
I think it's important. I mean, I think like even having a kid like Ryu could be really a big strain on the relationship. It can be a big strain in the household overall, which is the last question I want to ask you is, how has Ryu's temperament impacted Zaya, the younger one?
Oh, I already see Zaya picking up her screams. She has learned that, oh, this is how you get mommy and daddy to do it. I want them to do it. Just gotta yell. So she's picked that up, and that's for sure. And I'm kind of happy about that. Zaya needed a little bit of edge in her. So I think Ryu's gonna I think they're gonna help each other.
Yeah.
Rub off on each other. Like, hey, Ryu, let me show you how to really get what you need out of mommy and daddy. You gotta just be nice, be good, make your bed, say something sweet before you go to bed, and I promise you'll get that thing that you want. And then Ryu's gonna give Zaya a little bit more edge, I'm gonna show you how to take what you want. So I think they're gonna work it out. It's gonna be good. But I have seen a little bit of Ryu influencing on Zaya.
The thing that I have seen is Zaya is not very trusting. And I do think a lot of that has to do with her experience with Ryu.
Yeah.
Because she does have somebody in the home whom is not very gentle with her.
Yeah.
And then as parents, sometimes like we're trying to encourage that relationship and not get in the way a lot, which often leads to
someone getting hurt. Someone is Zaya.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that that's actually, I noticed with me, Zaya didn't have a lot of trust for me. I felt like that. Like,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, like she didn't trust me as her mom. I think that's starting to change now. Maybe Zaya was just naturally born not very trusting.
Yeah.
I know little stuff with her. Like if she's choking on something, she'll fight you before she lets you help her.
Yeah.
And Zaya doesn't let you feed her. She's like, I'll put it in my own mouth. I don't know what you have going on. And now I notice like, yeah, if she's in danger or she feels, threatened, she comes to me and she does look to me to help her with stuff if like something's stuck in her mouth. So I think it's slowly starting to change and transition. But that's also, I'm trying to be more mindful when they're playing together to make sure that I have Zaya's back. Because the thing that I never wanted is because Ryu gets frustrated easily, I never wanted her to associate her sister with jealousy or with being pushed off or being neglected.
Yeah.
So I would try to overcompensate and like make sure that Ryu felt comfortable and Ryu felt happy, which sometimes led to Zaya getting hurt.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find that balance a little bit more.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I definitely noticed in Zaya that she is becoming a little bit more just spunky. And, maybe I'm just looking at it only positive. I never really noticed Zaya to be not trusting of you or not trusting of me. I have noticed that whenever she hears Ryu, she's like trying to make sure she's not around her back. So I do know that she noticed that Ryu is dangerous and I need to like be on my P's and Q's. But I also noticed that she just loves Ryu. She looks up to Ryu so much. She wants to be next to her. She wants to get into whatever she's getting into. And so she wants to be Ryu. So I could see that early on. So I think that they're going to have a really good relationship.
Me too. Yeah. All right. That's the end of this video, I think. For any parents out there who's struggling because you have a kid that's a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
I think you're not alone. And I think that there's definitely ways to find beauty in it. I can not put enough money and value on having a co-parent who's there with you. That's what I was actually saying. I was talking to a group of women about when you have a partner who's not in it with you, when you're going through it, you look at that person and it makes you even more mad.
Yeah.
You're already frustrated and you're already exhausted. What I love that we have is when we're going through something crazy, I can look over at you and be like,
yeah.
And you're like,
yeah, it's nuts.
And we know that we're in this together.
Yeah.
And that just means the world to me.
Yeah, no, for sure. And even just like your attention to detail with Ryu is very inspirational because you're always searching for better ways, which I can't always, I'm not the best at that per se. I'm down to try new things. I'm down to move and find, different avenues for Ryu. But I do struggle with like, well, my upbringing was like this, and I think I'm trying to stay away from being so opinionated on what you're doing in the morning or what you're doing right now. But I can step up in that area and help out in that realm. But even down to the food, you're like searching meal placements, you're searching different preschools, you're searching so many different ways to put Ryu in the best position, even with the given explosiveness that she has, which is cool. It's awesome.
Thank you for watching this video, and thank you to Squarespace, a one-stop shop for your e-commerce, branding, website, and email marketing campaign needs. Squarespace is an amazing form that I've been using since 2017 to bring my branded vision to life, to bring my company to life. It's where I host my quizzes and where you can learn about my book and my business and our production company. We have 4 different Squarespace websites, and they're all housed in one place, which is extremely convenient as well. It's also where I have my blog. So what will you build? What is your next big idea? And can Squarespace make that idea bigger, splashier, more efficient, and more stunning? And you will be surprised at how affordable Squarespace is, especially on the email marketing campaign. I can't even tell you all the day and night difference that I got from working with previous email marketers to working with Squarespace. And I actually find the templates much more simpler to customize and a lot better looking. So do yourself a favor, Go and check it out for yourself. Go to squarespace.com/shanbooty and sign up for a free 2-week trial. And it's like genuinely free. No credit card required. Play around, poke around. And if you like what it is that you're seeing, bring your vision to life with Squarespace and get 10% off at squarespace.com/shanbooty. Thanks for watching.
Doubling back, all of a sudden I'm into your trap. I didn't want to go get into that. Sit in my lap, get into that. Running and gunning and dropping the stack. I wanna do it with you in the back. Show me what you're gonna do for the ride. What you tryna do, girl?